This is the glute workout I did over and over again before I knew what optimal meant, just me consistently showing up. So, today I'm bringing it back. This is my old staple gym workout consisting of 4 staple exercises that originally helped me grow my glutes at the start of my gym journey. As you can see, here is a picture of my body before consistently working out. And then here is my body 1 year later after using this specific routine every week for a whole year. First things first, frequency, intensity, and volume are the biggest factors in this. So, frequency. I completed this routine around 2 times a week with about 2 to 4 days of rest between each session. So, for example, if I trained on Monday, I wouldn't hit glutes till Thursday. It did vary a little bit between weeks, stuff comes up, but there would always be around 2 to 4 days between my sessions. At first, I did 4 sets per exercise, but then over time realized that was too much volume, so I dropped it to 3 sets per exercise and even 2 sets for unilateral exercises where you're using only one leg. This was because I was training at such a high intensity, around 80%, to just failure every set. When intensity is high, you don't need excessive volume. I also did around 10 reps per set. However, if I could get up to 12 reps of a certain weight, I would always increase the weight until I could only do around 8 reps. And this would progressively happen, so progressive overload occurs. Also, something to keep in mind is that I train gymnastics 3 times a week alongside the training, which probably played a role in this as well. Now, nutrition is also a very big factor. In the beginning of my fitness journey, I just started eating more, obviously, because I was burning more calories because I was doing more activity, so I needed more fuel. However, I'm a big snacker, so tracking wasn't going to be something that was really effective for me. However, a few months into my journey, I did track my macros that I was eating just to see how much protein I was consuming, because I was aiming to get around 100 grams of protein every day, and this helps with figuring out what foods and how much of it is needed to hit that goal. I also believe that this 100 gram per day helped me with recovery as well as gaining muscle. I don't recommend tracking for people that have a bad relationship with food. However, personally, I've never had one and it didn't affect me. Now on to the actual workout. It is comprised of 4 to 5 exercises. However, 4 of them are a staple. I would do them every single glute workout. The first is the Holy Grail hip thrusts. However, I did a variation called B-Stance cast glute bridge. So basically, a cast glute bridge goes through a smaller range of motion than a hip thrust. And B-Stance means that I had the heel of one of my feet on the floor while the other one stays solidly on the floor. I don't know how to explain this well. I'll show a picture somewhere. Basically, this targets your gluteus medius because it has to stabilize the movement. Most often, I did this exercise with just a barbell. However, there are different variations you can do. There is the Smith machine or even just hip thrust machines. However, I will always prefer barbell. It's just, And my workouts always start with this exercise because it's a shortening compound movement, and I always do a warm-up set and then go into my 3 sets of heavy weight for around 10 reps each. Remember, if you get to 12 reps, then move up in weight until you can only do 8 reps. Also, every set has a 2-minute and 30-second timer in between. Next is I always do RDLs, Romanian deadlifts. I perform these with a barbell. The main focus here is to go slow and prevent any spinal injuries because bad form can cause some injuries. Just warning you now. To bias the glutes over the hamstrings, imagine pushing a car door closed with your butt, and then try to have a large bend in your knee and keep the bar hovered around your shins. This is a compound movement, a lengthening one, targets the gluteus maximus as well as your hamstrings. I normally do around 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps with a 2-minute 30-second timer between my sets. Next is a unilateral exercise, so a single leg exercise. This is step-ups. Many people prefer to either do Bulgarian split squats over step-ups. However, I prefer step-ups. These two are in the same range of motion. I just prefer step-ups. I like to do them on the Smith machine now, but I first did them on a box, holding onto a wall and with a dumbbell in my hand. However, I feel that a Smith machine is more stable. All options work though. The main takeaway here is to visualize that you're going in an escalator motion and not an elevator motion. Drop your chest forward to create a larger stretch on your glutes, so then you will feel it more in your glutes. Do not use your back foot as help. That leg should be like dead weight where you can't use it. Lastly, the final exercise that are part of my stable routine is the gluteus medius kickbacks on a cable machine. These target your gluteus medius, and if you want that shelf to grow, you need to do this exercise. These are a non-negotiable. So to set this up, you want to be in front of the cable, put a plate underneath your feet, turn out your working foot at a 45-degree angle, and then kick back at a 45-degree angle as well. You don't want to kick too far back because then your back starts to arch, and that means your back is starting to do the exercise and not your glutes. So you need to stop before you feel an arch in your back. Another thing that can help with this is bracing your core. That will stop you from arching your back as well. I do 3 sets of 10 reps per leg, so I have a 1-minute and 45-second timer between my sets, between each leg. And then the 5th exercise is normally like an accessory exercise for the quads or the hamstrings, so like a hamstring curl or a leg extension for the quads. Or I would include a back squat in the beginning of the routine. However, when my main goal was just glute growth, I sometimes didn't include this in my routines. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm genuinely passionate about this subject and I like teaching people about it. So thank you for watching.